Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wolf Pit with another episode of What Are We Eating? If you've ever been in a hurry, or you're lazy like me, you've probably picked up a loaf of frozen garlic bread to go with dinner. As simple as it is to make homemade garlic bread, sometimes you're just lazy or you don't have enough time and you just want something quick and easy. There's a lot of different brands of frozen garlic bread, but one of my favorites is Cole's garlic bread and garlic toast. It's inexpensive, it's convenient, and most of all, it's delicious. Now before I go any further, I want to make one thing clear. This is not a sponsored video, and the reason I'm telling you that is because Cole's contacted me and asked if I'd like to try a new product that's not yet in stores. And there's absolutely no strings attached, other than they gave me the product for free. So I said sure. Free food to me always seems to taste better than if I'd paid for it. Just like in every single one of my videos, you're going to get my honest opinion. So Cole sent me 3 boxes of the new middles on dry ice to try. I'm not really sure when they're going to start selling these in the store, so keep an eye on your frozen food section. I have a box of 8 plain bread middles with macaroni and cheese filling, 8 salty pretzel middles with beer cheese filling, and 8 everything bagel middles with cream cheese filling. And if you haven't guessed already, they're basically bread balls filled with a cheesy mixture. So let's go over the macaroni and cheese middles first. There's quite a few ingredients in these, as you would expect in a frozen prepared food product. I don't really see anything out of the ordinary. If I've missed something really bad, let me know. This is really a pet peeve of mine. When companies make a serving size, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5 servings per container, etc. Why don't these companies simply make a whole number of servings? Not many people are going to eat a half a serving. So per box of macaroni and cheese middles, there's 2.5 3-piece servings. Per 3 middles, there's 300 calories, 10 grams of total fat, 4 grams of saturated fat, no trans fat, 15 milligrams of cholesterol, 750 milligrams of sodium, 42 grams of carbohydrates, 1 gram of fiber, 2 grams of sugars, and 11 grams of protein. Let's get them out of the box, see what they look like, and onto a baking sheet. They look just like frozen yeast rolls you get for Thanksgiving. Yes, that's right, I don't make homemade rolls for Thanksgiving. Or any other time for that matter. Now for the salty pretzel middles with beer cheese filling. Pretzels and beer cheese filling, that sounds really good. These seem to have quite a few less ingredients than the macaroni and cheese middles did. Interesting. The serving size again is 3 pieces and there's 2.5 servings per box. For 3 pieces, there's 310 calories, 11 grams of total fat, 5 grams of saturated fat, no trans fat, 20 milligrams of cholesterol, 560 milligrams of sodium, 40 grams of carbohydrates, no fiber, 4 grams of sugars, and 11 grams of protein. But if you add the salt, which of course you will, because a pretzel isn't a pretzel without the salt, is it? But once you add the salt, there's a whopping 3,100 milligrams of sodium. That's 135% of your recommended daily allowance. Yikes! Can anyone say cankles? High sodium or not, I will proceed with this video. Because as you know, I do this for you, the people, so you don't have to. Let's get these out of the box, see what they look like, and onto the baking sheet. Here's the packet of salt that you're supposed to sprinkle on them before baking. So I guess you could actually cut the amount of sodium way down if you use much less salt. That's pretty much common sense though, isn't it? Again, these look like frozen rolls, just a little bit darker. Once they're spread out, sprinkle with as much or as little salt as you like. And that 3,100 milligrams of sodium isn't really accurate. Because as you can see, I didn't even use a quarter of the salt. At least for me, the amount of salt I put on them is more than enough. But I'm sure if you use the whole packet of salt they give you, that 3,100 milligrams per 3 middles is going to be accurate. Because that's a lot of salt. Finally, for the everything bagel middles with cream cheese filling. Again, not as many ingredients as the mac and cheese middles. The serving size is 3, just like the other 2 middles. For 3 middles, there's 300 calories, 12 grams of total fat, 7 grams of saturated fat, no trans fat, 30 milligrams of cholesterol, 590 milligrams of sodium, 43 grams of carbohydrates, 1 gram of fiber, 4 grams of sugars, and 8 grams of protein. Let's get them out of the box, see what they look like, and onto the baking sheet. These kind of look like the mac and cheese middles, just with everything on them. Get it? They're everything bagels? Never mind. Once all the middles are spread out on the baking sheet, let's get them into the oven to bake. Now believe it or not, you can microwave these for a really good experience. But I always like for my experiences to be incredible. So I'm baking these in a preheated 400-degree oven for 7 to 9 minutes or until heated through. After 12 minutes, not 9 minutes, our middles are ready and they looked and smelled good. So let's get them plated up, give them a try, and see how they turned out. So here's the 3 different finished middles. And again, they looked and smelled really good. I wanted to try the mac and cheese first because you simply cannot go wrong with mac and cheese, can you? They got really nice and golden brown on top and on the bottom. I took a bite and the only thing I could really taste was the bread. It's actually a whole lot of bread and a little bit of filling. Nothing really spectacular with that one. But maybe it was just a bad one. So I tried another one. And unfortunately, it was the same result. A whole lot of bread and very little filling. I was definitely disappointed with this one. Next up were the salty pretzel middles with beer cheese filling. And right off the bat, these looked great. Nice and brown on the top and on the bottom. I was really hoping for a better filling outcome with these, so I took a bite. And these definitely had a little bit more filling, but the cheese, it was delicious. And you could really taste the beer in the cheese. But to me, it's still too much bread. Finally, for the everything bagel middles with cream cheese. You can see the poppy seeds, garlic, onion, sesame seeds, salt, and whatever else is on there. But everything on top had my mouth watering. And these also browned up nicely on the bottom. You couldn't really see it on the top with all the stuff on it. So I went in for a bite. And this one definitely seemed to have the most filling. I know this might be really surprising to you guys, but it really did taste like you were eating an everything bagel with cream cheese. It was pretty good. Since I gave the mac and cheese middles a second bite, I decided to do the same thing with the salty pretzel with beer cheese middles. And again, my opinion's the same. It was a good flavor overall, and a moderate amount of cheese. Then for a second bite of the everything middle with cream cheese. And again, it's just like eating an everything bagel with cream cheese. I think these will be a good breakfast idea. So let's go back over these and rate them individually. The macaroni and cheese middles were my least favorite. If I didn't see it with my own eyes, I would have told you it was just a piece of bread I was eating, which the bread itself was good. Even though there was some macaroni and cheese in it, I didn't taste it at all. Get a lower than average rating of 4 out of 10. The salty pretzel with beer cheese middles were much better. The pretzel itself was tasty. The beer cheese was also pretty good. Everything combined with the sprinkling of salt was a tasty combination. But again, the bread to filling ratio is way off. Just too much bread in my opinion. So these get a better than average score of 6 out of 10. The everything bagel middles with cream cheese filling were pretty good, and it seemed like they had the most filling out of all 3. But still not enough filling for the amount of bread, which is why they also get a better than average score of 6 out of 10. If you'd like to help support the Wolfe Pit, consider being a patron. You can pledge as little as $1 a month, that's only $12 for the whole year. Or you can pledge more, that's up to you. Either way, every little bit's appreciated and helps me produce more high quality videos more often for you, the people. Thank you all very much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.